everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. Ryan, how are you doing on this fine autumn day? Yeah. Right. Well, you guys might have noticed there was no recap for Frozen Frontier this week, or for Dicing with Death right now, and that's because our recappers, Layla and Chris, are deathly ill. They are on death's doorstep. They need to make death saving throws now. Oh. They can't hear you for some reason. There we go. Now I fixed that. My mistake, everybody. Sorry for not being able to hear Ryan.
That's fine. I was probably coughing and sputtering and video desyncing, which I'm sure they can still see.
Yeah, I mean they can see it now, but before it was probably.
All right, are we really live?
We're really live. Yeah. Chris and Layla are dying. If you wish to send your final thoughts to them, I don't know where you can.
Or better yet, a healing potion. Do we have a mechanism to send a healing potion?
Yeah, a healing potion would be great for them. Yeah.
Or a good berry.
A
good berry.
Fuck good berries. You're stupid.
I don't know if I saw that post on Reddit about that. I don't even know if we want to derail with a good berry discussion.
Let's do it.
Okay. I mean, I was trying to piece together exactly what had happened because I caught the episode, I caught one of the episodes where Drew with good berries, sure. But it sounds like later someone went, I mean, spoiler alerts, whatever.
That's fine.
Heroes Graveyard, who cares? Everybody dies. Spoiler alerts, everybody dies. Everyone dies at some point. Someone went down, right? And you allowed them to feed an unconscious person a good berry.
Right. And it's not just that one person went down, it's that Caitlin's character went down 5 times and came back with good berries.
That's right. Yeah.
Plus,
did you not know the rules at the time, or were?
No, I did know the rules at the time. I just didn't have the foresight to see about that Goodberry exploit. So, if you guys aren't following our conversation,
go ahead. Yeah.
If you're not following the conversation right now, in Heroes Graveyard, a show I do with Trump on twitch.tv/DND on Saturdays, we had a big fight, and a lot of players were being knocked unconscious and then just like being fed good berries. So basically, someone just ran around picking up good berries off other people's bodies and feeding them to other people. And it it got rid of someone's action every round, but it also made the players literally invincible because every time they got down or started having to make death saving throws, they were just like brought back and brought back and brought back. And it was fucking broken.
Well, to be fair, that's basically what a paladin is for anyways. But I mean, so rules as written, you can't, good berry is an action to eat the berry yourself and gain the HP. Like, it's pretty clear. Like, so oversight on your part. But are you sticking with that ruling? Is that what I was reading between the lines? Like, did it come up again and you're letting them use it and abuse it?
We haven't played since that day.
This is, I'm restraining the troll inside me.
So if it was just like a show here on our local channel, I would probably be like, screw that, you can't use good berries for that anymore. However, this is
However, on Heroes Graveyard, the most dangerous D&D campaign on the internet.
Except for the fact that it's not.
We'll house roll to make it easier.
I
troll.
I am confident that if we said you cannot feed good berries to an unconscious person, the entire viewership would riot and bitch, and they would never let it go.
And then you'd have Destiny's fans mad at you.
Right. And so I honestly feel, and this is maybe a weird thing to say, that that in that show, in Heroes Graveyard, you can't make a rule change like that unless you want to just never hear the end of it for the entire run of the show. Like, even if the show goes for like 40 more episodes,
you'd probably wind up with a good berry emoji.
Maybe
that seems like the way to go, right? Just replace the DM Hacks bear with a good berry.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Boom! Stroke of brilliance. Someone of the mods write that down. Good berry Koibu emoji.
I need to get rid of
update the times. Get rid of like Rat Cleaver or something.
Rat Cleaver. We can replace Rat Cleaver with good berry.
Yeah, nobody would care. Cool. So sorry for that derailing, but I was talking at you on Reddit and we didn't get a chance to actually talk about it, so I figured I'd bring it up.
See, you mentioned something on Reddit.
It is irrelevant. I said what I just said.
All right, cool.
But
yeah.
Anyways,
yeah. Let's
catch up on some Dicing with Death, I guess. That's what we're here for. That's what the overlay says.
That is what the overlay says. Right,
so, can our beautiful narrator remind us what happened to Leon last time on Dicing with Death?
Layla is sick, so you're gonna have to deal with me, the ugly narrator here. Leon got lost. Leon got confused. Leon got angry. He finally found his way to the hot springs and tried to appease this god of fire by plunging his arm into the boiling water.
Yeah, that was the long and short of it. Let's zoom out maybe a little bit and put it into context. So Leon's arm has been shattered by a street thug in Westport.
Yeah.
Saved by the church, and then but they don't have the power to restore. That's
right. They can't help me.
That shit's out. It's beyond beyond the strength of modern medicine to cure,
right.
Or at least D&D modern medicine would require divine intervention, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
So you've heard of this monastery up in the mountains, somewhere to the east, towards Brinton, where supposedly, I don't know. I mean, maybe Leon's knowledge of we can have you roll some religion checks to fill in more of these details, or you could just ask the monks at this monastery where you've managed to stumble to. Along the way, you tried to take the most direct route, I guess, and you found that the very bogs and vegetation fought you back, or maybe you were hallucinating, maybe you were delirious and sleep deprived.
It's possible.
Maybe it never happened. So you eventually took the long way around, right? Making it to Brinton, tracking down a monk who was delivering casks of spirits to the local taverns. You hooked up with him. Did you get his name, or did you just travel with? I mean, you're a pretty low charisma guy. I could see you hanging out with someone for a whole day and just completely forgetting to ask their name, and it reaches the point where maybe you don't even have enough charisma to feel self-conscious about it.
I think that's I feel like that's probably
so you follow this monk
thing of Leon, but also that's something that Neal would do as well. I lived with the guy for 2 months and never really learned his name. Or I learned it once and then forgot it, and then was just too awkward to ask his name again. So we just lived together for a couple of months. Just, saying hi in the kitchen and then not speaking to each other and not knowing their names. No idea what his name is.
It happens. So you followed this monk back to his monastery. Tucked in the mountains, sitting on the banks of a lake. But not just any lake. What's special about the lake? A bubbling lake, yes. A lake that nearly boils. And supposedly there may be some other springs or, I don't know, whatever, in the area. But Leon went straight to the lake and I think just tried to, sacrifice himself to the god of fire.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure how to handle it. Do I just let you commit suicide and roll a new character? I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Leon's goal wasn't to kill himself.
Yeah. It was narrative or something like that.
Yeah, he was. Leon had this moment of conversion where all of a sudden he was like, "The gods are real. They'll save me. I just have to sacrifice my,
But when it came time to actually drop below 0 HP, you chickened out and you jumped back. And I think curled up to sleep, just on super awkward, right? On the basically on the driveway, right?
Well, I think the monks came out and brought me back, right? They saw me sacrificing my arm and
you dragged yourself away, and you went. I think you tried to sleep on the road and heal or something. And I was like, okay, eventually the monks come out and drag you inside. That's more or less where we left off. I don't really have much idea of where we're taking Leon. So I wasn't sure how to prep for these monks. I also just don't really do those sorts of things, right? What's
prep?
Is that the DM's job?
Yes.
Oh, well. Anyways, I like to do things a little different. So I don't really know whether you're about to just murder these monks. Did I need to have their combat stats available, or are these nice, gentle NPCs?
So
so depending on how you want to handle it, we can. I don't know. we can go either of those two ways, right? Do we need to roll for initiative right now?
No.
Fatal 1 style?
No, we don't need
Or
to roll
shall
for
we?
initiative.
Yeah, or so we can probably kind of just step at a time and talk about what Leon's goals are here. I mean, there's probably some things to explore around the monastery that might be interesting. If you're not murdering everyone.
Leon's not going to murder everyone. I think he's still a little bit attached to this idea that if he's pious enough and holy enough, that the god will restore his arm.
You just heard about this god like a couple of weeks ago.
A few months ago, remember? I spent like 3 or 4 months in town at that time.
You're right. So, okay, couple of months.
And he fell hard for this religious angle. It was the first.
Had nothing to do with your shattered right arm.
It absolutely had to do with his shattered right arm. You know, he's a man in dire need. He's kind of like broken and needs some sort of like hope. Needs something to cling on to like validate himself and his existence. So he turned to religion. Found some sort of calling there, even if maybe it's not entirely what he's looking
genuine?
for.
I don't think this is genuine, but maybe I should withhold my commentary on your players' motivations.
Well, yeah, I mean, Leon's lived a sheltered life in a weird sort of way. Like, it's not sheltered. He lived a brutal, hard, bitter life, but he's never really been around these like loftier ideas. He's always been around like, you know, these really scummy people. And I think his first bumping up into like the light of the world has kind of, he's been swept with a passion, you know, he's like fallen into it like people fall into cults. And he's not a very charismatic person. He's pretty smart, you know, he's got average willpower, and he just kind of like, I think he's maybe a little easily swayed. That's probably why he was doing his own, or being an enforcer for so long, is he just kind of goes with the flow, and a few times he's started to strike out on his own, which is kind of the start of this campaign. And now he's once again being manipulated by somebody else or some other group. I don't know if manipulation is quite the right word, but something like that.
All right. So the monks, of which you will eventually find out there are 3, will take you in off the road right after your adventures last session, and I mean help you to a bed. They will, so that they aren't going to leave you to die on their doorstep. Obviously, they are not they're not medically trained in the same way that the pyre who took you in was. So I'm not. I mean, maybe we can see if you get any bonus healing or anything from their presence. But for now, they drag you inside. It's dark. You probably don't get a great look at the place. There are torches lit. So the whole place is at least dimly illuminated, although there are like at this point dark corridors and stairways. It's at least a couple stories, and you are dragged up a flight of stairs, I guess, and tossed into a bed. What HP are you actually at?
3.
So you never. Okay, so you never fell unconscious. I think there was like a saving throw to like avoid falling in or something like that, and I don't remember exactly how it played out. You could watch the last VOD. But so you're able to, do you let them carry you, or do you walk yourself?
I think
you're
Leon's
capable of
broken
walking
hearted. He might be capable of walking, but like emotionally he's a wreck here. He's just been burning his arm for apparently no reason. And he's kind of a crisis of conscience here, or a crisis of faith, where he's like, wait a minute, maybe devotion's not enough for the god to heal me, or maybe the god's full of bullshit. Okay. So he's trying to figure out his place in the world.
So, you are tossed into bed. It appears you have this room to yourself. It looks like this place is meant to house much more than it does. Like the bed there's a bed there that it's probably musty. It seems like it hasn't been used in a long time. In fact, there are several other beds in this room, all of which are like mostly made, some are stripped, and everything's kind of dusty. But I think you just probably bed down immediately. And I guess
just pass out.
So, I mean, I don't know if we need to take this day by day, but we can skip to morning. When does Leon rise?
I think Leon lays in bed for like a good 24 hours.
Okay, so you were awakened by sunlight at some point.
Yeah. I think Leon's maybe a little depressed with this shit, and he's kind of lying in bed wondering to himself, what do I need to do to fix my arm? Maybe I can't. Maybe I was just like so brokenhearted over my broken arm that I...
Yeah. If you were listening, that's probably exactly what everyone told you, but
right.
Maybe you needed some realization.
He was in probably some sort of denial here, and thinking back, he does remember the priest at the last temple being like, you can't just go to the hot springs and fix your arm. Leon was like, no, don't worry, I got it. I got a plan.
I think it was more to the extent. I think it was more of the mind. You can't just ask for a miracle, right? Right. That's not how miracles work, son.
Yeah.
In any case, here you are. So at some point, it sounds like maybe even this is what wakes you up. And if the morning light doesn't. One of the monks coming in to check on you does. This will have been the first time you meet this kid. Mm-hmm. He is much younger than the guy you followed up. He has to shave the top of his head, and it looks like he's still figuring that out. So he's got a bit of a hack job on the monk's cut, and a sleazy little mustache. Brown robes that are similar to yours. Mm-hmm. Would you have would you have held on to all of your stuff? Like you've got several bags, I believe, right?
Actually,
or would you have left the monks
I just had the one backpack. I have I've got like my clothes, my spell book, my backpack, a dagger, 9 pounds of food, a water skin, a torch, some oil, and a map. And a knife.
So you moved that all into one bag.
Yeah, I think that's just all in my backpack, except for the dagger, which is at my side.
Okay. All right. So that can be at the side of your bed or whatever.
Yeah.
He'll come to check on you. He brings you porridge and doesn't say a whole lot. I think he probably sets it there and wakes you. I don't know if you want to ask anything you can, or we can. I don't know how. I don't know.
Leon needs a day. He needs a day to sleep and things.
So he leaves some porridge and probably a ceramic pitcher of water and.
Yeah. So while Leon's sleeping and resting, he's trying to decide what the hell he's going to do with his life.
Is now the time to decide?
Now's the time to decide. Resting in a bed, surrounded by monks, near a boiling lake. People are making whiskey. He came in search of a miracle, but he found alcohol instead. It's kind of this it's the perfect metaphor for what he's looking for here. He's looking for salvation, but he just finds alcoholism.
Well, did you ever try any of the liquor they were? Yeah,
he hasn't tried a touch of it.
Mm-hmm.
So Leon still has this desire to get the hell out of the Goldsmiths Union's grasp, but also this sort of burning desire to see them dead.
You've got a window. Maybe it's not. You probably have the first bed in the door, so the window's on the other side of the room, past a couple of other cots. Mm-hmm. So, but at some point, I think you get up late morning, mill about, find the porridge and water that have been left out for you. Mm-hmm. Remember, then you're half asleep state that the young monk came and set it there. Mm-hmm. Eat, I assume, unless you're starving yourself.
No,
would you like to would you like to sacrifice your character that way?
No. He'll eat.
And look out the window and see this pristine mountain lake and tree covered rock sides up here in the mountains. You can't think of anywhere farther away from a Goldsmiths Union's grasp than a monastery in the mountains, right?
Yeah, but Leon doesn't want to retire and become a monk at this monastery. That's not his goal, right? If it was, we could end the session. We could end this campaign right now.
So maybe
But he needs something else, right? What is he gonna do?
I guess is this Leon realizing he needs something else?
Yeah, he does want revenge from the Goldsmiths Union, but he also wants to flee them. He's scared of them, which makes him want to kill them and run from them. And he's kind of pissed off at these religious folk for misleading him, which really they didn't, but he's blaming other people for his own problems.
So as you're breaking your fast, can I have you make a dexterity saving throw or a dexterity check to avoid dribbling porridge with your offhand?
14?
Yeah, you dribble. Yeah. You're having these thoughts, and you're using your left hand to drink porridge, and you like dribble. You like get the angle wrong, fine motor skills, and tip the little porridge down your chin. Maybe it drips on your robes. Yeah, you're reminded of your handicap. Would you like to? Would you like to draw upon the magical source within the universe or wherever you get your powers from to perhaps cast a fist of stone and solve this problem, or are you content to dribble porridge?
I'm content to dribble porridge. I'm not going to cast fist of stone just to feed myself.
Just reminding you of
right
of what we have established.
Right. Yeah. So Leon / Maldris. You know, I did see there was that Goldsmiths Union bar back in whatever that town was on the other side, on the other island.
Brinton.
Yeah,
at the capital. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
know, that might be...
You're not sure if you could find your way out of these mountains without like the monks' help, but you should be a day away from Brinton if you could follow the same trail you took up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember if I said anything more specific, but sure. Did you do a delivery there and avoid it, or did you just avoid it on your way to town and stay at a different tavern?
I just stayed at a different tavern last night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's not like you went to the Goldsmith. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
All right. So Leon's gonna rest up. He's at 3 out of 10. He needs to get back to 10, get out of these mountains, and go find that bar and go murder people. That's the solution.
Okay. All right. So how long are you trying to rest here? I think, yeah.
If I get full bed rest, I get 2 HP a day, right?
Yes.
And I'm down 7, so I'll need 4 days of bed rest. Which I guess means I need to talk to a monk? No, Leon's not the type to ask for permission.
You said 4 days?
4 days, yeah.
Yeah.
Leon's not
maybe they'll see you as you go. But I was going to say they would give you about 3 days of these conditions before, like, sitting you down to talk.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like trouble comes following you immediately. So the elder brothers or whatever never don't bother you if you just want to stay in your room and get complete bed rest. Sure. You'll be brought meals probably twice a day.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. The dinner meal will come with a shot of whiskey alongside the water and the meal, which is probably just as I don't know what the dinner equivalent of porridge is.
Baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, more porridge.
Probably some. No, you know what? This is a monastery. Maybe it's there's probably not even meat, right? It's probably some. I don't even know what you would. Yeah. Grain. I don't know. Write in chat if you've got any interesting sad dinner equivalents for porridge. Why don't you roll a grub skill check? Does Leon have a grub skill?
Yeah, he's got a grub skill. He rolls a 3 on his grub skill check. Wait a minute, that can't be right. That should be D20 plus 10. That should be a 13. But it's still a fail.
Okay, so you rolled a 3 plus a... Okay, yeah. So, no, it's still pretty miserable. I mean, you roll a 3, and then your grub skill is 10.
Yeah. That not work.
Yeah, so... Yeah. Food is slop. The whiskey's whiskey, but maybe you can't get the whatever starchy taste out of your mouth or something, or your palate's been... I don't know, or maybe you're. What are all these? What are you doing?
My macros
testing your
are
character
broken.
sheet.
Yeah, when I don't input a modifier, it just rolls the d20 and doesn't add the my actual stat. So I need to find a way to make the default on the modifier a 0. A problem for a different day. I just keep inputting zeros in the meantime.
Fish marrow soup. I love it. It's some sort of fish stew is what's for dinner. And that just like, I don't know, sits with Leon wrong.
Yeah, it does. Leon, like all my characters and like myself, doesn't like fish.
You probably wind up vomiting at some point that night,
gross.
that first night.
Yeah.
You find like a bucket that was meant to be like a rubbish bin, and you just puke in it. At some point, the kid asks, maybe like later that evening, or probably the next morning when he brings you breakfast, checks in on you again. Poor kid has to swap out your barf bucket. But you can recover 3 days. I think on the 4th day is probably about when the monks would be ready to kick you out, anyways.
All right,
so
you know what? I'll only be down
how many HP do you need?
I'll be down 1. So if the monks are gonna like give me a talking to about moving on, Leon will like.
I don't think it's that at all. I don't think it's that at all. I think they'll come in probably on the morning of the 4th day. So you would have gained. I think you would only gain 4 HP. Right, if you stay there 2 nights. The first night you don't gain any, right? Because you just well,
right.
Yeah,
so
you just boiled yourself alive that day or that.
Oh, so you're saying a total of 3 nights, not 3 nights beyond that first one after the boiling.
Yeah, so you can recover 4 HP. I mean, if you ask nicely, maybe you can stay longer. But that's the point where the one of the elder monks, probably one you have not met. Well, maybe you saw him. I mean, he carried you in, obviously.
Yeah.
He's much larger than his brothers, quite portly, in fact. With curly blonde hair that is, I mean, it is like tonsured. Is that what it is when you shave your? Yeah. Whatever.
Leon is not the sort to like ask permission to stay longer. The monks come and say, "Hey, something." To
He comes in and he says, "Oh yes," and like, well, so brother, it's yeah. I mean, perhaps it's time that you tell us what it is you're running from, or at least who you are. Right? I mean, you've been here a couple days. You haven't introduced yourself. You haven't asked. I don't know. You follow him up the mountains and then just boil yourself alive in his hot tub, and then hang around for a couple of days. It's a pretty scumbaggy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting that. I mean, if you had the charisma to perceive those sorts of vibes, you're perceiving those sorts of vibes.
Yeah, I think Leon just kind of stares at him glumly in silence.
You've kind of been a 6 charisma jerk about it, this whole thing. But
yeah.
So so maybe you just leave without even really engaging with these monks? Is that what the impression I'm getting? Without even checking the place out? And you just want to hit the road there? Or do you want to, yeah.
I think it's that sort of thing. He starts asking questions about who I am and where I come from and what I'm running from. And Leon kind of like uncomfortably gets up, grabs his bag, and just walks out the door.
Okay.
Without really,
Yeah. Do you want a chance to roll a charisma check to improve at least your understanding of the situation, or do you not even?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take that charisma check. 23. I passed it.
Yeah. So you distinctly have the impression that if you were to open up in this case and tell them, if you had said, "Hey, I'm Leon. This is my story. I need to get my arm healed," I think you were probably rambling to the first monk on the way up. But
Right.
But yeah. So you feel like if you divulge something, they may let you stick around longer. But it sounds like Leon doesn't want to risk that, right? He would rather hit the road than
yeah. Leon's not that sort of person.
Risk. Okay.
I don't know if it's so much risk as like just like stubbornness and like he's not a likable guy. So when people talk to him about things that he doesn't really want to discuss, he doesn't have it's not in his character to like actually have these conversations and solve these problems, right? He's got 6 charisma. He's kind of just a weird jerk.
Yeah,
so,
I was gonna say jerk if you weren't. I mean, yeah, I think I described the situation just about right. You show up, boil yourself alive in their hot tub, pass out on the couch for a couple of days, don't even clean up your own puke.
Yeah, exactly.
Eat their food.
Yeah.
Scumbag Leon. All right. Back on the road we are. 4 HP more. I mean, I guess so you still haven't fully recovered from your burns, but you're what, like 3 down or something like that? 7 out of 10?
Yeah. And then I will head into the swamp. You know, like I did walk here with that guy on the cart.
Yeah, so that was down like the backside of the mountain. I mean, you're not really sure. You're up here in the. You probably start walking down the path, and it kind of like diverges into more of a donkey trail, and there's high grasses, so it's a tough trail to follow. You know, I mean, when you first tried to approach here, there was some like footpath off the main road on the other side of the mountains. And you kind of, it was late and dark, and you'd been trekking all day. You don't know if you were hallucinating or what, but you found that bog pretty impenetrable. Going down the backside, there should have been some trails or something that led a donkey cart up. So I think, you're going to need to make some sort of check or something to navigate the forest without getting lost. I mean, I could. Right. Where's your destination? Is back towards Brinton?
Brinton's the direction I'm headed.
Okay. You can't wait more than 3 days for a miracle. Figured we'd spend more time at the monastery, but well, maybe we'll come back. Maybe not. Maybe Leon has Leon given up on this god, this Lord of Flame.
He's sort of given up on this Lord of Flame god.
You skipped out on all of the like torch lighting over the course of your stay there, which is a pretty
I think so.
Ritual to them. So
I think leaving the monastery for him is kind of like a symbolic of Leon leaving his devotion to the faith. It'll probably take a while for him to fully leave it, maybe just one session or whatever, but he's definitely finding, he's not satisfied with what.
For now, you still are wearing monk's robes.
Ugh. Skies has become my way of life, has just gotten in the way of things.
So how are you trying to navigate? Do you have any relevant skills or knowledge? Or aside from the obvious knowledge that you've been somewhere near. This is your first time here, right? You spent a couple of days in the area.
Yeah, I walked through the swamp partially once, and then I did go all the way through the second time.
So no innate sense of direction, no experience looking at maps. No, you're a little city boy. Nothing. So I think you're just gonna have to roll like a flat wisdom check. Probably with a -5 modifier.
15 is a fail.
Maybe and then maybe with some bonuses, right? Like we can talk. Yeah. But so how close are we? I don't know that you'll get like a +6. I think you definitely are getting lost on the way out.
I think that makes sense.
I think with a roll like that, you're able to figure out north from south and know that so which way would you have taken? I guess which way do you fail and get lost? you can tell me here if you want. You're trying to get
going north.
No,
that's
without
the problem is that I think I'm supposed to be going north. So that's the direction.
So you wind up. So maybe you intentionally do this, right? You know that north will get you probably over the mountains faster. It's where that I don't know, whatever the veggie monster embraced you and then let you go. Perhaps oozing fear gas or something that just compelled you to turn tail and run. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe you were tripping balls. But so you head that direction. And you go off-roading, and maybe you get tangled up in the foliage again. At least it's light this time.
Nice. Stupid swamp, Leon's thinking to himself.
Yeah.
Crap.
So, have you been DJing at all for us?
I have been
today.
Yes.
You have been? Okay. Oh, I need to join Discord probably to get that to play, don't I? Or is it even playing over there?
No, it's not even playing over there.
Okay, whatever. No worries. I don't know. We can fuss with this on a break or something. But
yeah,
that's fine. So I think you try and take a shortcut. I don't know. You don't take the donkey switchbacks or whatever that you took up from Brinton. You think you might be able to get there faster this way, or I don't know what's on your mind, but I
just think that the way to go is north. I think that's the way that leads back to the road. So I, find north and just kind of set my eyes on it and do my best to follow it, which is, surprisingly hard to just go.
So you
north
you go up and over this this mountain forest. Forest mountain. Surprisingly quickly losing sight of the hot springs, and the smell of sulfur dissipates pretty soon after as well. I don't even think there are really any good views back at it. It's kind of this hidden lake, hidden little valley. Like once you you're in the trees, and then once you're over the hill, so you can't look. So you don't really get any views through the foliage. Maybe you probably cross various meandering paths up here. They're faint, and I don't think you're really astute or skilled enough to notice them, or to notice all of them or understand where they're going. But it gets some traffic from monks, perhaps. Right. So if there's only 3 guys living up here, these trails probably only get walked every couple of weeks or something. But you can see where various areas have been trafficked.
Right.
Maybe you do get a glimpse of some small hot spring tucked up with some rocks. So there's maybe some other stuff up here. But you quickly leave that behind.
I think I also very quickly realized this isn't the way
down
that
the north
I came.
side. I think you realized that from the get-go. You're like, Donkey Trail, I can figure out a shortcut. I'm a smart guy. The sun's right there. Britain's going to be to the east. I need to get over these mountains to the north, and then I can hop on the road.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But it takes a little longer than you meant. Do you have any rations?
I have 3 days of food.
Okay, so you did.
I don't know how old it is. It might be starting to go bad at this point.
They weren't iron. Where did you get? You got those from the last monks. It would have just been standard rations, not iron rations, which I think lasts
a week.
Yeah, right.
And I've spent at least 3-4 days. So this is probably
this is probably the last one. You can eat these unless you get seriously lost. I don't think you'll get lost for 3 days here in the woods. But so what's Leon like? Are you panicking? Are you? I mean, or
no?
What's your thought in the survival scenario? Right.
He stubbornly refuses to admit that he was wrong, and force marches north. Right, or I mean not force marches, but he's like, it's definitely north. There's definitely a road there. I just have to keep going a little farther. Yeah. And then, so he'll do another day headed northbound, but if that doesn't go well.
So we don't get, I was sort of paused. I mean, that roll was for this first day. You get lost. So around noon, you're probably realizing that this is not what you were expecting. You're sort of you're sliding down the north face of this peak for a while. And then, I mean, you're in a mountain range, right? It's not just one mountain. So you wind up having to go up and probably cutting a little east to get around the mountain. So it's not as straightforward to go due north. Get a little turnaround. It's slow going. There's a lot of climbing and sliding, and it's hard to sort of tell the terrain with all the trees. Yeah. Eventually, as you get more northward, it gets wetter.
This seems familiar. Leon thinks to himself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Right. So you with that, I mean, you're smart enough and you rolled well enough on your wildernessy check to piece together that at least you're headed generally the right. You're heading towards the ocean. You probably got sidetracked. Maybe you wound up going the wrong way for a while and having to turn around. So there's you don't want to, I guess you travel for that whole day. You wind up what do you do when it comes around time to make camp? Or what is your plan? Are you looking out for a good spot, or are you just going to go till it gets dark? I mean, you stop for lunch at some
Leon's
point.
Done a lot of overland traveling in the last, not very recently, but a few months back he had a big stint of a lot of overland traveling and kind of has had I think he's learned to look for campsites before it gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
So as maybe the sun is beginning to set, he starts looking for a hollowed out log or like a hollowed out stump or like some small enclosed area that he can like tuck himself in to keep himself warm and lower his visibility profile.
Mm-hmm. Sure. You roll a, I guess, perception check as you look out for a camp that night.
18 dice.
Yeah, so I think you find what you think would be the perfect spot. You find a big felled tree, huge, bigger than most of the trees around here. This must have been one of the older trees in the forest. It's like it's on its side and it's overhead, and you can see that it's hollowed out. You're probably 100 or more feet away from it, and you spot it. It's cleared out a bit of the forest around it, and it's starting to like regrow up and over it. I will mention that by now, it's not the same smell as the hot springs, but a nasty, sulfury, boggy smell pervades the air. Maybe you've gotten used to it by now. If I didn't mention it from the trail on the other side, I mean, the smell. Is familiar, I guess, to the area, right?
Yeah. I think Leo
maybe the wind was blowing.
Sign,
maybe the wind was blowing the other way last time, but
he had to hike through a swamp to get to the monastery, so now he's got to hike through the swamp to get back, and he's feeling pretty good about himself. Maybe not a swamp, but like a wet area. This is promising.
So you set into the clearing, planning to. That's what he's looking for.
Brian pretending like he planned and has notes.
I may not have notes, but I have books, right?
Right. So what do I have for spells today? I have 2 Fists of Stone, a Chill Touch, a Shocking Grasp, and a Taunt. And I still can't cast Read Magic.
How are we?
I'm going to end up a 5th level wizard who can't cast Read Magic.
Yeah. How you failed the last level up too?
Yep.
You didn't do any spell stuff while you were. I guess you couldn't have done anything serious while you're getting complete bed rest, but.
And I mean, he's been studying that same Read Magic spell for months now, with still no getting around it. So I think the sulking in the priest temple the monastery goes with like hand in hand with not looking at his other stuff. It's just like 3 days of sulking. Monsters await swamp. Yeah.
An opportunity.
Yes. Fix my...
Let's see if I have a... I switched my screens way too late, huh? This is where we are, and we don't need. I don't know. Can't figure out how to delete the doodles, but that's fine. Oh, you got it.
I got 2 of them. I can't get the others.
I must have done those. All right. So you find your camp, and you go rushing into it enthusiastically. Mm-hmm. You approach this massive hollowed-out log that looks like it's basically got a cave inside.
Perfect.
And you like peer in, and you step into, I guess, to enter it. Mm-hmm. I guess I'll give you like a surprise check, which you pass. So you like notice before. You notice maybe at the threshold to this log cave. The at least the entrance is filled with massive, say like 4-5 foot tall, so it's up to your head, mushrooms.
Oh my god! In the log?
They're large and mostly gray, with some like bulbous pinkish growths.
Okay, so when you say massive log, you mean a massive log. It's like 5 feet high.
I told you it's overhead. Overhead. So probably the interior, like the part that's hollowed, is at least 8 feet. Some of it's submerged with soil, and then there's the outside that's thicker. And then down this, you don't have light lit at this point, I don't think. Mm-mm. So you stop before like bumbling into these enormous mushrooms, maybe 15 feet from the entrance.
Well, these are interesting. Let's play with them, Leon thinks to himself. He will wanted to spell or cast a spell. It's nighttime. I'm going to be sleeping pretty soon. Yeah. So I will cast a Fist of Stone on my right hand. Mm-hmm. And then use it to draw a dagger and like poke the big mushroom or like try and carve a section of it off. And then I want to make like an herbalism check to see if I can eat it, if it's edible.
Hold up. So you start to approach the mushroom, and you get to like the threshold, maybe like 10 feet away from this 4.5 foot tall mushroom that's inside this log, and it emits the most blood curdling shriek you've ever heard. It sounds like a woman shrieking in death. I don't know. Maybe you had a contract job where you had to take a baby away from some mother as like to leverage.
Oh god!
It reminds you of that scream. You can roll a perception check, I guess, but it definitely beats your passive perception to notice the scream itself.
25.
Yeah, I'm gonna save chat's ears and maybe I don't know if housemates are home, but from imitating said shriek. Mm-hmm. And as it's shrieking, you like notice the purple bulges, like I don't know, writhing and stretching.
Leon doesn't like this.
And like you see a little the opening or whatever that's emitting these sounds.
This is where Leon needs like a burning
billowing and pulsing,
spell.
And it doesn't stop. It just wails.
All right, I'm gonna punch it. I'm gonna try and keep it. I'm gonna shut it up by breaking it. Right, it's a mushroom. Okay. It's a big mushroom, but I figure with a Fist of Stone, I should be able to like break the mushroom and kill it, stop it screaming.
Sure. Did you cast for Fist of Stone before entering the?
Yeah, I cast Fist of Stone and then.
Okay, sorry for not catching that. I mean, I heard it, but it's fine. You can do that, but I mean, just to remind us when you cast Fist of Stone, you turn your Fist of Stone. As you found out, I mean, you inadvertently continued to cast it in your right hand and realized that when you turn your right hand to magical stone with strength 18-100, you're now able to lift your once limp or your limp shattered right arm.
Right.
So if it were strength 18-100, and you can hold a dagger in that. I think this 18-100 only would work for punching, but you can manipulate a dagger.
Right. But since this thing is screaming, I'll just put the dagger away and just go punch it.
Or you can even just punch it with the dagger still braced in your hand, which is probably a more effective attack.
Whatever. I'm just gonna punch it.
Maybe
I should put on some combat music?
Or intense, horrifying. I mean, they're not attack. There's no combat yet. Well, you're bringing the combat, so I guess roll. You don't even need to roll for initiative. You can punch, so you can roll to hit.
All right, I'm gonna make a roll to hit. D20 plus 5. I roll a 10.
I have a hard time. So I think what happens is you do punch it, you do close, but it's like jelly or whatever. Like maybe even like feel blubberous or something. Your hand just kind of sinks and bounces out, and like you don't actually do any functional damage to the mushroom, which continues to shriek. It's probably hurting your ears this close. Nothing mechanical to apply.
Right, but it's still like just disturbing.
Yeah, it's hellish. And as you close to punch this one, there's another one now like 5 feet in front of you into the cave. This one's like almost 6 feet tall that begins joining in with this hellish chorus. So now there's like, and the larger one I think shrieks slightly lower. So there's this like dissonant pair of shrieks just wailing and echoing inside this log.
Oh my god, this does not sound like funsies. I just need to get the right track for this. Apparently I didn't have it already. Possible. Come on. This should be the right level of spookiness. Yeah, so I punch it and it just kind of like recoils against me.
Yeah. Ew. Yeah, like you make contact, but you don't hit it hard enough to puncture its like, to dent the fungus or whatever.
Well, this time I'm just going to go up and just try and rip the fungus off. Wrap my right arm around it and just rip it out of the ground.
Yeah, why don't you roll initiative for me just so like I can
Sure.
keep track of various things. So
yeah, 4.
Yeah. Continue to wait. Okay, you're now trying to tear it out of the ground.
I'm just gonna rip it out this time.
All right, still make a roll to hit. Obviously this time just against like AC 10.
24.
Yeah. You like wrenched hold of the mushroom, probably using both hands, but your right arm is your strong one, and pluck it out of the ground. It pops up surprisingly easy. There's like a nice satisfying like pop as like these like little like growths at the base of it that sort of stretch out into the earth to pop up. Maybe it's got like a little ball of like dirt and decaying leaves and shit sort of stuck to the bottom, but you pluck up this 5-foot mushroom. It's just wailing in your ear.
Oh god!
And you can run off with this screaming mushroom.
No, I thought that might kill it. So Leon's gonna switch his actions to just like pummeling the shit out of it, or maybe like find the mouth and punch the mouth to death.
Okay, so this round you can do your strength bonus and damage. I'll say.
Okay.
Just
a straight 8 damage then.
Your strength bonus is 8. You've got it with your specialization in unarmed. Sure. So you do 8 points of damage. Is that correct?
That is correct, unless you want me to add my D3 to it.
Beefy sucker. No, I mean, so you like squeeze it. You can feel it give a little. Maybe you crush some of its like, I don't know, mushroomy fibers. It oozes a bit, but it's a big squishy mushroom, and it's screaming in your ear. Let me continue to roll dice. Okay, and do you get 2 attacks this round? You can do another. I guess you can. I'll double your strength. You've got it in a grapple.
Yeah, I'm just gonna punch the shit out of it.
Yeah, can I actually have you make me a strength check? Don't
sure.
Don't fuck it up, but it's not super critical.
Don't fuck it. Well, I get an 18 for my strength now.
Yeah, so basically,
32.
Yeah. So the mushroom sort of pulses as you crunch it. You're able to squeeze it for another 8 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Your strength 18-100 gives you +6. Is that what it is?
The damage, yeah.
+6, and then you get +2 for being a martial arts specialist. So that would be a total of 16 damage. All right, you like squeeze the guts out of this mushroom. If a mushroom had guts, there's like bits. I mean, you've eaten a mushroom before, right? You love the things. Right?
I hate
you know
mushrooms.
their texture.
They're the worst. They're the worst thing out there.
You're missing out. You're missing out.
Dude, they have the weirdest consistency. They're like
you're probably
tofu.
just eating. Yeah, maybe it's just like too much of the crappy, like, I don't know, white mass-produced mushrooms sliced up and put on a gross pizza.
Just mushrooms are not appetizing.
We'll see. Maybe I don't think this encounter is going to make that any better. Great. Roll an initiative for me one last time. Well, not one last time. You're not dying. You're not dying this
screaming,
round.
Finally.
Oh no, God no. There's two of them, and they're still screaming. Right, yeah.
2, 5.
Yeah, so you're at the start of. So you're able to finish. You crush it in half or whatever, and it does stop screaming. Like the pink, like ovular bulbs, like just get squeezed out of it, and it starts kind of like dripping, fluidy. I don't know. I mean, it's not. I guess there's not a lot of fluid. There's moisture, but it's a big 5 foot tall mushroom. You squish it. It stops screaming.
Good.
There's still a second one in there that is screaming, and you see down the log, like the first 15 feet or whatever of the log is just like packed with these mushrooms. You see maybe 7 big ones and then smaller ones growing up at their base. You're not sure if the smaller ones are capable of shrieking.
I need a burning hand spell. Oh my god.
So you've got a shrieking mushroom. You get your... do you want to do anything with your movement? Do you go further in?
You know what? I'm gonna wreck all the mushrooms. I'm gonna kill them all.
All right.
We're gonna go on a mushroom genocide, guys.
Okay. So wreck them. I guess that was your action for the round. Roll a perception check.
Alrighty then. Any modifiers to that sucker?
Actually, I should give you a penalty for the shrieking.
Well, okay. 30 before penalties.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. By the end of the round, you can sort of feel the earth rumbling, not like drastically, and it semi-periodic. It's probably the mushrooms, right? Like they're shrieking, and the earth's kind of the earth is as you step into the cave, the earth feels a little trembly. Nothing. I mean, it's not like you're worried about the roof collapsing in, but you notice something. Roll for initiative.
Notice the roof 4. Oh my god.
Not the roof. Like it feels like tremors. Has Leon ever been in an earthquake?
No.
Maybe on the hull of a boat when you hit a wake or something. Mm-hmm. It's giving a shake, but it's periodic, and you're not sure if it's pulsing from the mushrooms or something. You can investigate it. I mean, so you've entered the log. You're gonna polarize the second shrieker.
No. If the ground is shaking at my feet, I'm gonna take a couple of steps back and like put one ear to the ground and plug the other ear.
What?
And try and
all right.
What's going on?
Okay, roll another perception check. I love it.
14.
So you back up into this clearing. There's only the one mushroom shrieking at this point. Thank goodness you didn't punch it and set off the whole chain.
Right.
Just wailing. It's echoing out of this log. You can still. It is hellishly loud, and even in this clearing, you stick your ear to the ground. All you can hear is the shrieking. Put your other ear over it. Maybe you get a better feel on this undulating pulse.
What is happening?
Like, boom, boom, and synced with the pulse. I think just right in front of your face, you see just a column of vegetation. Boom! Thundered maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet from your face. And attached to the column is, let me double check, a towering, shambling, humanoid shape. Checking my size. we'll just say it's large. You're on the ground. You're prone. It is
A large creature.
a towering mound of shambling vegetation. And I think with that, we're gonna cut to break. See you on the other side. Bum bum bum.